back. Women in Business on Smart24 TV. Conversations about every little aspect about women in business. We still have Jean. Jean, we were talking about mentorship. We were talking about different attitudes, mindsets, talking about the opportunities, the different challenges. Mentorship is key.
Yeah.
Mentorship really did it for you.
Yeah.
People downplay mentorship, I think. Sometimes they do downplay mentorship. Is it, I believe sometimes it's because the intricacies of mentorship in Uganda sometimes are not so clear. Some say others are not willing to share their information. Others feel it's a competition. Sometimes it's very difficult to find someone who is willing to mentor you.
Yeah.
How has it been for you, and what do you think about mentorship? Because it's very crucial to you.
When we were all growing up, we all had heroes. Whether it was a hero on TV, whether it was a superhero cartoon, things that we looked up to. And that's why they always say that as we grow and the world keeps giving us all these ideas, we lose our childlike nature of play and make believe. Then we start becoming doubters and haters and people who live basically a sad life as compared to kids. We grew up happier then because of the heroes we watched on TV, and we worshipped them, and we wanted to be like them, and we looked up to them.
And we believed we could do it.
And we believed we could do that, until, you go to school, then they tell you, oh, stop dreaming, you'll never be Superman, right? And that's the same thing with mentors, the same effect a mentor can have on you as an adult. You look at somebody, and that's what they talk about. The moment, you believe it in your head, the universe will make it happen. Many doors have been opened to me just by belief, just by looking at somebody and admiring them and wanting to be like them. And in your head, in your make-believe play state, you behave like them, you act like them, you talk like them, you visualize like them. And then you find that you're already walking in those same footsteps. Unfortunately, life and in school, they keep telling you, don't be a dreamer, you come back to earth. These things only happen in the movies. No, our lives are movies. This can happen. And I think that's why we need more mentors. Because if you do have a point of focus, and you can focus your dream onto somebody, something, it's much quicker to achieve when you see somebody who has actually made it than people who are telling you, oh, this can't be it. The challenge right now is our mentors, either they don't want to share knowledge or they are too expensive. Somebody says, yeah, I can mentor you, but I need my time. Either my time or this is my invoice. We don't have people who are doing it out of the passion they are very few. They are very few. But those few,
they're there.
yes,
They're there.
Those few who are there, they are really making an impact. They are really making a change. They are really making people start thinking outside the box. I keep saying our education system is a bit limiting. I'll give an example. For us in the hotel industry, I get young kids who come to me every day, hundreds every day, and they have all these CVs. So I stopped looking at CVs because one of two things: either a CV will undersell somebody, you look at the CV and you're thinking, until you talk to this person, and you can clearly see their passion and this, or it will oversell. Look at a CV like this is the person, $1,000, and then when you talk to them, you're thinking, no. But when you talk to these people, these kids, you really see the passion that they have. Somebody comes to ask you for a job as a waitress, and then I say, okay, if you had to do anything, what would it be? Somebody tells you, madam, I love to sing. What? I sing in church. And the person lights up when they talk about that. And you're thinking, we can find a space for you in a hotel where you can be an in-house karaoke. Or somebody comes and tells you, madam, I'm looking for a job. And the person is so stressed. What's wrong? Yeah, I've been trying to do, I do carpentry, but it's not really, show me your work. And you're thinking, oh my God. Oh, but I draw some paintings, but and you look at the art and you're thinking, what? So I know that there's some young people whom we've managed to guide, because somebody tells you, oh, I've been doing carpentry there in Kabale, but I'm getting little money. When you look at the quality of the work, you're telling me, no one time we called 3-4 lodges. take them your work. I will recommend you. Just have a conversation with them. And somebody calls you and says, the other kid you sent me, I gave him a contract to do for us furniture, to do our beds.
Jean, I think to me, this is why mentorship is really, really one of the focal aspects that we get to talk about in Women in Business. Why? Because mentorship will either take you higher, it will unleash the person in you. Yes? The person you didn't even know existed. You just dreamt of the person, right? And to me, because of the society and all these different constructions and the moldings about what a woman is supposed to be, often inhibit this freedom. That is why it's very important that mentors come out and uplift as many women as possible.
I always say this, that the world will always need a hero. And the world is not just the universe, but the world is you and me. You always need a hero because they give you a point of focus, like I've said. When you have a mentor, when you have an idol, when you have somebody you look up
They tell you
to,
that something is believable.
they make it look possible. They give you an inspiration. Every time you want to give up, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I want to be like that woman. I want to open a hotel like that woman. Oh, I want to do this like that woman. And you will end up in life. You have to be your own cheerleader.
I know. I keep telling women this.
You
I keep
can't
telling women
keep
this.
waiting for people to cheer you
cheerlead
because
you
either we
every
have our
time.
own problems or we are cheering, or we are really also dealing with our own lives.
Yes.
But you need to be able to believe so much in yourself that, even
when someone tries to pull you down,
exactly,
it's impossible. You actually infect them.
I told
with your
people that
positivity.
for me, a no, a rejection is like any other word.
So what?
Because I have removed that power from a no. If somebody tells you a no, it's great. This doesn't work for you. It's a no from you. It's never a no from me.
There's a clear saying, some will, some won't, so what? Someone's waiting.
Exactly.
Right? Just move on to the next.
So a
Shrug it
no,
off.
actually, I prefer somebody who tells me no,
makes
so
you
that
more
you stop
stubborn.
wasting my time. You know, I stop knocking on that door, and then I can put my energy somewhere else. Then somebody tells you, maybe, or let us see, and then you spend 1 year with hopes in something that is just going to work out.
Maybe.
Just be kind enough. I think it's kind to actually tell somebody, no, I don't think this is going to work for us, so that this person can be able to put their energies elsewhere.
When it comes down to mentorship, yes, being very clear, yes, that relationship between mentee and mentor, being very clear and not allowing those obscurities about maybe you can do this, maybe you can do that. I think the mentor and the mentee have to both be as clear as possible.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely, because you want to avoid making your mentee dependent upon you. You want to be able to give this person tools to be able to make decisions. The problem is that mentors sometimes micromanage their mentees. So you find somebody telling you, oh, I cannot make a decision without talking to my mentor first. Yes. Or if your mentor's dream doesn't have to be your dream. Yes. I can admire your success, your life, your story, but it doesn't have to be mine. But I can take components out of yours and tailor them to mine. And sometimes there are mentors who will impose their life, their story onto you. And so you find that leads to a clash. Somebody has a great mentor, somebody has a great mentee, but these people are not meeting. Or the mentor is frustrated that I keep telling this person what to do every day, and then the mentee is thinking, this person tells me this is not what I want to do. So you need to be able to give a little bit. So it's like teaching kids how to swim. If you keep holding the kid, or if they keep with the floaters, they'll never learn to swim. Sometimes you just need to put the kid into the deep end and but be there to hold and make sure that they are not sinking.
Does this happen under the association? Does the association get to mentor women?
Yes.
Women owners?
Yes.
Right?
The association does have programs for female owners, but also being part of a group of successful people. It's an opportunity for fellow hoteliers to learn from each other. So you'll find a hotelier saying, I have this problem at the hotel. And this other person saying, oh, I had the same thing. This is how I dealt with it. Or we all have collective problems which the association then can deal with through lobby and advocacy, at a much bigger stadium. So being part of an association, it leads to mentorship, even from hotel owner to hotel owner, peer-to-peer mentorship. It leads to mentorship even for staff. I have kids who come to my office and they are starstruck because our chairperson went and spoke to them. And they're like, we always see her in newspapers. We even have hotel owners who are starstruck. Somebody comes for an AGM and says, I've seen Mr. Mtature, I've seen Mr. Sudhir, I've seen Mr. Amos Wekesa. And the person goes back so excited. And that is what an industry is. And that is particularly why I love working for the Hotel Owners Association, because the hotel owners are cheerleaders of one another. You find they don't really compete, they cooperate, right? They compete as they cooperate,
Apart,
you know?
apart from being cheerleaders one another, I also know that the hospitality industry is so integrated.
Yeah.
Right? You work very closely with UTB.
Yes.
You work very closely with MOH.
Yes.
Very closely as well with all the other safety institutions. And I also know that this is changing, right? Because all these different amenities have to be showcased in almost all these accommodation centers, whether it's safety to ensure that men and women, especially women that are staying within the hotels are not going to be raped, but that they want that extra little bitty service that seems very small, but it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It makes a very huge difference to the woman. And then also the aspect of the sanitizers, COVID changed quite a lot, by
Yeah.
the way. What the hotel industry used to downplay is now like the norm, right? Is now the norm, the extra cleanliness, the extra sanitizing, and not just for health, but now for part of the industry as well. Who are those key players that the association leans on? And where is the woman in the center of it?
The value chain in the hospitality industry is very big. We impact almost each and every other industry. So for instance, like if somebody builds a hotel in a village, they will bring umeme to their hotel, the neighbors can tap. They will bring water, they will provide market for onions, tomatoes, you know, the people around, the farmers around. They will create employment. Then they will also, you know, MTN will come and give us Wi-Fi. Alcohol and beverage companies will also come and be able. So the value chain is very, very big. What we do for us as the Hotel Owners Association is look at key areas which affect mainly women. I'll give an example. A few years ago, we actually had to start a very controversial program on HIV and AIDS in the hotels.
Really?
There had been a study that was carried out the time when Uganda, there was a revival of HIV and AIDS. And then at the time, the national prevalence rate was 7.3%. They carried out a study that showed in the hotel industry, our prevalence rate was 10.3%, much higher than the national average. And the most affected were women. Why? They work very late, they are low wages, but most importantly, the spreaders of HIV and AIDS would come and find these young people in the hotels. So you find people with a lot of disposable income coming into a hotel, and if they tip someone a 20K, somebody who is earning 60K per month, it's difficult for that person to protect themselves or say no. So the first thing was we need to tackle this because it's getting out of hand. 10.3%, you know, preference rate in the hotel industry. So the first thing they said, oh, you need to put condoms in the bedrooms. We said that's going to cheapen the hotels. We have kids in hotels. We have parents coming on vacation. And we don't want our children having to explain to a 2-year-old what that is. And we had to go back and forth.
But I thought there are condom dispensers.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We had to go back and forth, working with the hotel owners because there's a lot of stigma around that. We had the don't ask, don't tell policy. We don't care if you have HIV and AIDS, if you can work. But then also the working conditions. So we had to take that on as the hotel association. We had to create a policy of HIV and AIDS at the workplace. We had to create a policy that protected the hotel owners also, but protected the staff, you know, who, whether you like it or not, they are young boys, young girls working together. They are having, you know, outside interactions. And that's how we came to a mutual ground where we said, fine, we can put dispensers in the bathrooms. we get to protect the privacy of the people who require the service, but most of all, we get to also retain the integrity of the hotel. So for each controversial idea, but again, we had to find a solution because young girls were getting affected first. When girls get sick, it's their whole families. A boy can get away with it, yeah, not get away with it, but really, you know, when a girl gets pregnant, it's her who suffers more than the boy who is also part of the story.
Both of them are still, important.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely,
important.
1000%.
Both genders.
There's even now something that we are discussing about empowering the girl child too much that we've forgotten the boy child.
True. That's.
And the girl child still suffers if you have an unempowered partner.
I know.
You can be a CEO if you have a man who still is not trained to treat a woman right. You still have a problem.
But when you look back at all these things happening to the young girl, to the young woman, to the woman within the hotel industry, isn't it linked back to the wages? Can't, of course, all constant, all other factors constant. Can't it be linked back to the fact that the woman is being underpaid? The woman being hired within the hotels does not have a contract, so she has no say. Could it be linked to that as well?
Not really, because that cuts across the board. The wage disparity I mentioned is mainly in management positions, right? Where a Kenyan general manager will earn more than a Ugandan general manager.
Yes.
A male general manager will earn more because there's a thing that he takes care of the family, he has kids, etc. But you cannot tie every other disadvantage to the low wages because other industries are making even lower than us. You know, at least for us in the Hotel Association, we're even unionized. We have trade unions which protect our staff. So whether you, for instance, whether you have a contract or not, after 6 months, you are considered permanent staff and you get all the benefits of a permanent staff. Because we as the Hotel Owners Association, we do have a collective bargaining agreement with the trade unions, which kind of guides what is happening, the pay, the leave, the benefits of many of our employees. So you cannot really link everything back to contracts. Many industries don't have that, and they have even worse problems than for us in the hotel industry.
I think this is why this is so interesting because it's so wide, and this is why we also talked about all other factors constant, right? However, we also get to know that we're talking about the woman right now, yes? Focusing really about the woman within the hospitality industry, within the business. Let's move away from the management for just a little bit and then come down to the woman being in charge, down. We are looking, have you had word on the street about what people think about, for example, the receptionist, right? Let's be candid. Let's just have this candid talk. Most of them will say what? When it comes to morals. And this is nothing to do with all the beautiful work that they do. But there are those little gritty, perceptions, the misconceptions that seem to be attached to positions within the hotel industries.
Yeah.
And this is where it comes down back again to what you guys are doing under the association, the capacity building, the professionalism and all that. Why is it that most of them are receptionists, of course, are women, and there's a very poor image, yes, and all these connotations about morals and the decadence that is always attached to the woman coming into that sport who has gone and studies for how many years and loves this. How is the association helping to ensure that people view her in a different light and she views herself in a different light as well?
Okay. One of the things I usually even tell kids when they come looking for jobs is that the buck stops with you. Sometimes, even you as a woman, you have to have enough belief in yourself to even say, I'm walking away from this job because somebody has asked me for a carpet interview.
Yeah.
Corruption in
Yes.
every form starts with one person saying, I'm putting my foot down, and it's a no. But if you do have excuses for it, and by excuses, I want to be very, very
Careful.
Careful with that, because sometimes it's something beyond your control. You're a single mother, you have 2-3 kids at home. That day you left home with only 2K to get you to the workplace. Therefore, when somebody approaches you and says, I'm giving you 20K, you have a lot that you're thinking. So I know sometimes that when I'm speaking, it's from a privileged position. I haven't had to make some of those decisions. So, and that's why some of these things are going to remain part of our societies for a very long time, because just even the wages will not be able to fix it. For instance, if you're earning 100,000 and I say as a hotel owner, I increase your wage maybe to 150,000, but your landlord increases rent, the schools increase, the transport increases, I cannot be the solver of all your problems, right? So I will have done my bit as the hotel owner to increase your wage, but the standard of living is also rising. And so you'll find that you, as the staff, you need extra sources of income, and sometimes temptation comes into play.
It sounds, I'm baffled really, because you have so much on your plate as an association. You know, you're trying to look at the welfare of the workers, of the laborers, really, the workers, the staff. You're trying to look at the environment. Is it favorable for the hotels to actually function and make money? You are working hand in hand with the Uganda Tourism Board to make sure that the image out there of the hotel sector in Uganda is good. Rwanda is doing quite well. Rwanda is doing quite well.
But number one, they have a zero tolerance to corruption.
To corruption.
Number one, they have a zero tolerance to corruption. You will not be able to give Kintu Kidogo even to a policeman.
Yeah.
You know, a manager will, people have their rights there, and it's black and white. For us, we are operating in a very gray environment.
Yes. But you still do, because you still do get to advocate for some of these pertinent, things that must be put in place, right? And it's better than keeping quiet.
Absolutely. Like I said, there are some of the things that we've taken a hard stance on, HIV and AIDS, because like you said, there is a moral issue. So at least we've told the kids, if you really have to, if somebody really, at least protect yourself. If you do find that you've been infected, these are the facilities where you can go for help. We've trained the HR managers to be able to provide counseling, even on the premises. We recently had a project that unfortunately stopped before COVID about trafficking. There are a lot of young women who are trafficked through the hotels. You know,
how is that happening?
People are trafficked, right?
Yes.
So me as a receptionist,
you should be able to identify.
Exactly. So we were trying to train the hotels in a way that they can be able to identify somebody who seems uncomfortable in the presence of another person.
But how?
Also giving them skills on how they can be able to approach this person for help. Also giving them skills on some sort of sign language that you can use, or some sort of wording or questioning that you can use. For instance, if somebody checks in and there's a girl with her head down and the male figure is the one, even the women are the ones who traffic. Okay, the women do a lot of trafficking. And you see somebody is the one talking and making a decision mostly for this person. Or why are people locked in their rooms 24/7? You know, that's what traffickers do. They come, they book a room, they put do not disturb for 3 days. We are that program was meant to empower staff to actually ask questions or to call in security.
But you also know that very many hotels pride themselves on their non-disclosure.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Policies.
Yes.
And their secretiveness.
Yes.
Most hotels pride themselves on that. And what you're doing is your business, that mentality. What you're doing is your business. What I'm doing is my business. And it's my role to keep you comfortable in your business.
That is changing, especially in the age of terrorism.
Ah, yes.
The business of what you're doing is your business. Yes. And then somebody blows up a hotel, blows up a church, blows up a mosque, and this person was on your premises for 1 month. You're culpable. Yeah. You should have asked questions. You should have knocked. You should have gone in to clean and seen something. So it's like the motto of corruption: see something, say something.
Yes.
You know, at the very least, see something, call the police and say,
do your part.
something is happening, we don't understand, these people are not leaving the room, so that you are on record as having raised some sort of alarm. But when you keep quiet because these people have paid you rent for 6 months and it's all about the money, then in some way you are found to be culpable of something like that. Exactly.
This is wide, you know. But I love it that you're making waves, you know, Jean. I love it that you are passionate about what you do. And that even you know, as you tackle some of these emerging issues, whether it's HIV, whether it's the professionalism, whether it is labor issues, whether it is sensitization, capacity building, all of them are to actually make the lives of the woman and all the others much safer and better. I want you to be able to look in the camera and tell the person right now viewing us and tell them about the opportunities that are within this particular hospitality industry. And to the woman who wants to one day own her hotel, what are the steps that she can go through? And how should she start? Get a piece of land and build a hotel, or come over to the association first for guidance? Just in a few quick words.
First of all, tourism has been steadily rising, and in the next few years, it's going to be one of the best industries for any woman to be able to get into. Look at the women who are now emerging in the top jobs in tourism. The CEO of UTB is a woman. The PS of the Ministry of Tourism is a woman. The chairperson of the Uganda Hotel Owners Association is a woman. CEO of the Hotel Association is a woman. And we have many more female entrepreneurs who are owning hotels, running hotels, and successfully doing so. And especially because it's been proven that women can perform as good, if not better than men in most management positions. So we encourage more young women to be able to come. And it doesn't matter, because for us the value chain is big. You can be an accountant and you're passionate about math. We need accountants in tourism. We need the chief finance officer of the next 5-star hotel to be a woman. You can be in marketing. You're passionate about social media. We need the next chief marketing officer of a big hotel to be a woman. So there's opportunities despite the course you've done. Even as a doctor, you can come and be a head of health in an industry. I mean, this was made very clear when we had COVID-19 and we went into lockdowns and the hotels were most affected. We wanted more doctors to be able to come into the hotels and help our young people, and especially in setting up the SOPs. So the industry is ripe for women. We encourage women to come, and we are excited to have more women joining us.
Jean, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
I feel like we should have another 1 week to exhaust this. It's amazing that there are so many opportunities for women. It's also amazing, yes, it's inspiring really, that some of the challenges that are coming up are being addressed by Uganda Hotel Owners Association.
Yes.
And that's a good thing, really. Would want to thank you for joining us today. Let's meet on the next episode of Women in Business. I've been Doreen Kemchisha. Our guest has been Madame Jean Byamchisha. And see you next time. Bye-bye.